Trades are important in sports because it's finding the missing pieces for a potential championship roster. And for the New York Mets, they have made a flurry of in season trades, but only some have been truly great. In this episode, let's look at the top 5 New York Mets in season trades of all time. Number 5, Ray Knight from the Houston Astros. Knight's career with the Mets didn't get off to a great start, but he was a key contributor to the 1986 World Series team, especially in the World Series, where he hit for 391. And while many remember Knight coming around third base after Bill Buckner's error against Mookie Wilson's ground ball in Game 6, many people forget, including many Met fans, that he had the go-ahead home run in Game 7 to put the New York Mets over the top. Now, while Knight's career was short with the Mets, only 3 years, and he would leave the Mets after the 86 season, there's no question that without Ray Knight's contributions, the 1986 team would not have been able to win the World Series. Number 4, Yoenis Cespedes, a Cespedes for the rest of us. Now, the 2015 trade deadline was full of tears, but then it was filled with joy. After the Mets' deal with Carlos Gomez fell through, they ended up bringing in Yoenis Cespedes, and Cespedes went on the greatest tears in New York Mets history. In his first year and a half with the Mets, he hit an incredible 58 home runs and drove in 158 RBIs, including 17 home runs in that stretch run as the New York Mets were able to reach the 2015 World Series, much due to Yoenis Cespedes. Now, while Cespedes did struggle in that postseason, there is no question the Mets would not have been in that position without Cespedes and also reaching the 2016 wildcard game. Despite the great start, Cespedes would be hampered over the next few years by injuries, including some strange events off the field in 2020, leading to an abrupt end of his career at the age of 34. And while the Cespedes career could be viewed as a tragedy with the Mets, especially after such a promising start, there's no question the short impact that Cespedes had on the 2015 and 2016 playoff seasons. And without him, the Mets clearly would not have been in those positions. And as Mets fans, we should remember the good Cespedes times instead of the whole lot of bad times that would follow. Number 3, Don Clennon. And when your nickname was the missing piece, that should basically say it all. When many young Met fans think of the 1969 World Series team, they think about the great pitching that helped the Mets get there. But what often gets lost in the show was the amazing in-season deal that the Mets made for the first baseman from the Montreal Expos. And while Clennon did have a good impact during the regular season, it was clear that he would make his impact felt in the World Series, where he hit 3 home runs and hit 357 in the series, earning the World Series MVP, the first in franchise history. And then would follow that up with a great season in 1970 with 22 home runs and 97 RBIs. It's unfortunate because Clendon's time with the Mets was certainly short, but there is no question that the Miracle Mets wouldn't have pulled off the miracle without him. Number 2, Keith Hernandez. Now, while many people might think this is number 1, and I'll get to number 1 in a second, there's no question that Keith Hernandez has had a long impact on the New York Mets, not only on the field, but currently in their announcing booth. In 7 seasons with the Mets, he made a huge impact, not only with his bat hitting 297 and knocking 80 home runs, but playing a Gold Glove caliber first base, 6 Gold Gloves to be exact. And without question, Hernandez was one of the key cogs in the 1986 World Championship team, and arguably became the face of the franchise throughout the 1980s. And if you don't agree with me, just take a look at this. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. And number 1, Mike Piazza. When Piazza came to the Mets in 1998, it was a seismic shift for the franchise. Now the team had not only a face, but one of the most prolific offensive weapons in the entire league. Piazza was an impact player from day one and helped the Mets reach the 2000 World Series. He was the superstar, and for a generation of Met fans, he was the most beloved Met by a mile. The 7-time All-Star also made his mark in the Major League record books, becoming the greatest home run hitting catcher the game has ever seen and becoming only the second member of the New York Mets to be enshrined in Cooperstown. But Piazza wasn't just a star on the field and wasn't just a Hall of Famer. However, Piazza became more than a baseball player. He became a beacon of hope on September 21st, 2001, trailing the Braves 2-1, Mike Piazza hit the go-ahead 2-run home run against the Atlanta Braves to propel the Mets to a victory. However, this was more than any game in September. It was the first sporting event in New York City since the terrorist attacks of September 11th and delivered a moment in sports history that New York fans will never forget. That's our list for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Were there any Mets that just missed the cut that you believe were the best in-season trades of all time? What other lists would you like us to do about the New York Mets? Make sure to put in the comments what you would like to see. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our latest content. If you're one of our subscribers, just hit that like button to show this is the type of video you love watching. But until next time, this is Rich Sports Talk.